Hello my lovelies, this is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we are doing another shirt. So I did a granny stitch shirt a couple of months ago. You will see it here. I'll show a picture of it here. It was my first one on the channel and it seems like you guys liked it, so I thought I would do another one just using different stitches and different type of design and different colors and things like that. So this is what was inspired by that shirt and how much you guys liked it. With this one here, I'm just playing with how I place my colors. So I have the stripes, the navy blue in the back and the gray, and then in the front I kind of do the opposite. I line it up with the opposite color. It also has a little bit of longer sleeves compared to the one that we had, and I do the collar a little bit wider as well, and it's also longer. So anyways, I just wanted to do something a little bit different compared to what I did already. And if you guys like it, I hope you do as much as you did the other one. If you guys have any other type of shirts you would like me to do, I will definitely make sure in the next bit I will do a tutorial for it. But yeah, this is what we're gonna be working on here. I hope you guys like it. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so before we get started with this project, I'm gonna show you the materials that I'm using. And as you can see, I have my two colors here. I have this navy blue and this kind of grayish colors. I'll tell you the actual names for them. But this is Joy DK Tricot Double Bonheur by Loops and Threads. And the measurements are here, or like the weight of the yarn or how much you need is here per ball. This is called navy, so I was right with that. So this is navy for color, and it is a lightweight number 3, and recommended hook size is 5mm crochet hook or H8 US, and it's 100% anti-peeling acrylic. So this is one of these colors that I'm using. The other one is this. Everything is exactly the same except the color for this is called charcoal. So I will call it gray, but they call it charcoal, okay? So these are the two that I'm using. You're gonna obviously need more than two balls like this. So I will tell you, so I do have two balls like this and I have three like this. So I'm really hoping that I will have enough. If I don't, at the end of the video, I will tell you how many I needed, if I used all 5, or if I needed to add more, or if I had any left, okay? I'm going to be using a 4.25mm crochet hook, just a choice of mine, which is G6 US. So if you're a beginner, it's good to use a recommended hook size, which is a 5mm crochet hook. But anyone else who feels comfortable doing their work with any hook size, please go ahead and use whatever you're comfortable with. I have a scissors to cut my yarn. I have a darning needle to join our panels or to weave in any ends. I have some stitch markers that we will need. And then I have my tape measure to determine our sizes, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so we're gonna get the project started here. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you want to determine the length of your shirt. So measure from the top of your collarbone all the way to where you want your shirt to kind of fall up to. So how long you want it to go down your body. And then when you have decided what that is, we're going to go ahead and do the chains that will correspond to that. So for mine, and as you can see, I'm going to start with this gray color or the charcoal color, mostly just so you guys can see properly, because I do have a black background. It's probably going to be easier to see than the navy blue. But anyways, we're going to be able to start with this, and we're going to determine how many chains we want, and then, or the length, and then we're going to do the chains that will correspond to that. And then another thing you want to make sure you do is you want to do your chains in multiples of 4 because of the pattern that we're going to be doing. And if there's any mistake that you make at the end, for whatever reason, we can come up with a workaround for that, so that you don't have to worry about undoing your work all the way and then having to start over, because counting a lot of chains can be a little bit challenging for most of us. So I'm going to start by doing a slip knot. So I'm just going to take the end tail. I leave it a little bit, not too long, but just a little bit like this in case we need to make any changes at the end. But I just wrap it around my finger like that. And on the other side where they cross each other, I pinch with my middle finger. I slide it off my thumb. I take my hook. I put it into that loop. I yarn over, going underneath the yarn that is coming from my finger. And then I release. And as I release, I pull. And it tightens this knot here. and make sure you have enough yarn to work in the loop here. Make sure it's not too tight. You want to be able to go in and out of it, and plus it's your first, it's gonna end up being your first chain. And so for mine, I'm going to do a chain of 112, and that's gonna be what I want for the length of my shirt. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, my lovelies, so this is my chain of 112 here, and as you can see, it's quite long because we want the length of it to be long. And one thing that I wanted to let you guys know as well is this is not the width of your shirt, it's going to be the length of your shirt. So that's why we're making it long like this, is so that this is actually what it makes the length of your shirt. Okay, all right, so for the next row, with the first row of this project, we're going to skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th, we're going to yarn over, go in the back of that 4th stitch, and grab the back loop and complete a double crochet like this. The 3 chains we skipped is going to count as your first double crochet, and then the one we just did here is your second. Then you're going to yarn over again, grab the back loop of the next stitch, and complete a double crochet. And then you're going to do that for every single stitch until you get to the end. So nothing too complicated, you're just doing your double crochet stitches, but in this case we're working in the back of the foundation chain. And this is the back of the foundation chain here, this is the front, and you can tell the difference because these have V shapes and these have like these lumps that kind of go over like train tracks. I call them train tracks because they go like this. Okay, so continue to do this to the end. When you get to the end of this row, come back to the video and I will show you what to do for the second row. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my first row here of just double crochets, as you can see, so nothing too complicated. And then we're going to start our second row. So this project is a 2-row repeat, so it's gonna be this row here and then the next row that I'm gonna show you how to do. And when you repeat that, you're gonna end up getting the pattern that you see for this shirt. Okay, so for the next row, as you can see, I just did my last double crochet right there. So I'm going to start by doing the next row. I'm going to start by doing a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and every row is going to start with a chain of 3, and the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. And then we're going to turn, so that is connected to this, and then so we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch right here. Okay, so not this but this, we're going to do a double crochet just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 2, so 1, 2, I'm going to skip 1, 2, in the third I'm going to complete a double crochet, and then I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to chain 2, I'm going to skip 2 stitches, in the third I'm going to do a double crochet and then a double crochet into the next stitch, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, in the third complete a double crochet, and in the fourth complete a double crochet. So you kind of get the idea here. So we're repeating this pattern to be able to have this look here. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way to the end of this row. I would say do it until you get to maybe like a couple of stitches to go, and then come back just in case you don't have the exact amount of stitches to finish it off at the end. I can show you a workaround. Why? Because there's just so many times that I know I'm doing multiples of something in terms of crocheting, and at the end for some reason I either miscalculated the number or I just missed the count somewhere, and I end up with a weird number that I'm not supposed to end up with. So for that reason, I've just come to find a way to work around that, because I don't want to undo my project just to fix that. If there's a stitch missing, we're gonna find a way to fix it instead of undoing everything and adding a stitch. So continue to do this until you get to almost the end, and then come back to the video so I can show you what to do to finish it off, if there's any correction, and then how to start the next row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I've just reached the end of the row here. I just wanted to show you how it looks like so far. This is pretty much how it looks like. Okay, so just like a mesh pattern that we do here. And as you can see, lucky for me, I have 4 stitches left at the end. And so I'm going to skip these 2 obviously and work into the last 2. So I'm going to do a chain of 2, skip this stitch and this stitch, and in this second last one I do a double crochet, and then our chain 3 is right here. We need to work into that because it counts as a stitch. So I'm going to yarn over and go into that the top of that chain 3, just the very top of it, and complete my final double crochet, just like that. Okay, so that way we have a nice and finished end like that. So I'm going to show you quickly. Let's say there was 3 stitches left here. If there was 3 stitches left instead of 4, the workaround that I would do is, let's say this is the last stitch. Assume that this chain 3 does not exist. Let's say this is the last stitch. What I would do is I would do my chain 2. I would skip these 2 stitches, and in that final stitch, I would do a double crochet and then another one right into it and make it 2 coming out of the same stitch like this. That is what my workaround would be. Okay. But let's say you do this and there's only 1 stitch left at the end. So let's say that this is your last 2 double crochets back to back, but there's this stitch here. So what I would do here is, instead of working into this, instead of skipping these 2 here and working into this and this, I would do a reduction. I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I would do, let's say this was my, how do I explain this? I'm trying to show you guys how to do a workaround. Let me just work this double crochet here. But let's say at the end, I have just this 1 stitch here. There's, let's say 2. Let's say there's 2 stitches left. I would still do the same. I would do a chain of 2. Let's say this is the last stitch right here. I would work my 2 double crochets into that stitch, just like this. This may be what I just explained. Is that what I just explained? Maybe not. Something like this, and then it would look like that. I think it's what I just explained. I'm so sorry, guys. What is the other workaround that I'm trying to show you guys here? I know there's another workaround. I promise you guys, I have come across this before, and I just wanted to cover this in this tutorial. Oh, wait. So let's say there's 1 stitch left. So let's say you have done your 2 double crochets like this, but there's 1 stitch. What I would do is I would undo this, and let's say there's 2 stitches left like this. I would go into this and do a half, like a double crochet without finishing it like this, and then go into the final stitch, the next stitch, and do like this, which is a reduction. I don't know if you guys know how to do this. So at the end, it looks like I have just 2 stitches at the end, because there's just this stitch and this stitch. And then that's how I would fix this issue if I have 1 stitch left at the end. So I would just do a reduction on the end. Hopefully that helps, because I don't know. I just thought it would be a cool trick for you guys to learn, to show you guys, so you don't have to undo everything. Imagine if you had to undo everything here to fix that. I think it would be annoying, no? So anyways, I'm gonna finish mine here. I just got lucky that the calculation that I did was the right number of stitches, and so I can just go into that and complete my stitches without any reductions or doubling up or whatever the case is. All right, so for the next stitch, I'm going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. And I said next stitch, I meant next row. And then I will turn after my chain 3. I will work into the next stitch right here and do a double crochet. And my chain 3 counts as a stitch. And then now I have that double crochet. And then into this chain 2 gap, I'm going to work 2 double crochet stitches. I just go right underneath, do a double crochet, and then do a double crochet. So 2 right in that chain 2 gap. And then on top of each of these double crochets from the previous row, I will do double crochets like that. And then in the chain 2 gap, I will work 2 double crochets. So in this case, in essence, we're working a double crochet on every single stitch, except when it comes to chain 2 that we did, we don't work into the stitch, we go underneath the 2 stitches. So just like this, go underneath and then work your first double crochet and then work your second double crochet. Okay, so and then we'll do this all the way to the end. So at the end, we're gonna end up having this row and this row, this row and this row, and we repeat the 2 rows over and over and over until we have what we need to do for this color. So for this particular row, come back when you've got to the end. I'll show you how to finish that off, and then I'll explain how many rows I did in the gray, and then how many rows I would like to do for the navy blue, because as you can see this shirt from the pictures, I'm doing the back is the blue and the gray back to back, and then the front panels will be the exact opposite. I do 1 panel in navy blue and 1 panel in gray, and then those are, I kind of match them up the opposite color with the other opposite color. Okay, so that is what I will come and show you how to, so I'll come and show you how to finish this row, and I'll explain that, and then I will have you guys pretty much work the rest of the back panel, which is what we're working on here. And then when you finish that, we'll come back again and I'll talk about how to do the pretty much the rest of the panels. The rest of them is just repeated. I'll just explain how many stitches you have to do, what measurements you have to do for what panel and stuff like that. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, I just worked my third row, as you can see here, and I'm just almost at the end. So I worked my double crochet in the second last stitch, and as you know, the chain 3 counts as a stitch as well. So I'm gonna work into that, and I wanted to come and show you guys how to work into that final chain 3 stitch. Okay, so for this one we have 1, 2, 3 chains. So I don't go into the top chain right here, I go into the second one, in the middle one. So I yarn over, I go into the middle chain, and I complete my final double crochet that way. So this is what you're gonna do for every single row where you're finishing off your stitch. It just makes it so that it's a little bit straight. If I do it in the first one here, it tends to bend this final double crochet, and it kind of goes this way, and that doesn't look very good. Okay, all right, so now to do the next row, you pretty much do what we did previously. Chain 3, turn, do a double crochet in the next stitch from the one that the chain 3 comes out of, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2 in the third, complete your double crochet, and then another double crochet in the fourth stitch, and then chain 2, and then you repeat. So now we're just repeating what we did here. So this is a repeat of these 2. You're doing the same thing here. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna work your stitches. So this is pretty much the length like this. You're gonna work this until you have half of what the width of your shirt is. So you will take your tape measure and you will decide how wide you want your shirt to be, or how loose in other sense. So what I do is I begin by pretty much measuring right over my bust. I measure from armpit to armpit. So whatever that measurement is gonna be, for me it's usually about 20 inches. And then that is going to give me a better representation of what the shirt is gonna fit like. And then I'm going to add a few stitches for the looseness. Okay, so measure from armpit to armpit, but make sure it goes over your bust. So the bigger your bust is, the bigger or the wider this is gonna be, because you want to incorporate your bust. And then that way it's gonna be a little bit loose if you're to measure on the back of your body. If you go in the back with this, if you get 20 with going over your bust, you may get about 17, 18, even maybe 16 if you go the same distance from the back. Okay, so I'm gonna work mine. So let's say then it's 20, let's put it at 20. Let's see, I say 20 from armpit to armpit over my bust. It's 20. Let's say I want to make it about 24 because I want the looseness to be incorporated in that. So then what I will do is I will do this color here until I get to 12 inches. And then I will do the other color to incorporate to do the other 12 inches. Okay, to make it 24. So to change the color, you're going to pretty much work this until you have your 12 inches, for example. It's a figurative number. and then you're going to change into the navy blue color. And then when you use the navy blue color, you're going to do the same amount of inches with that color, okay? So I'm gonna do the same here, and I'll be back when I have finished the complete back panel, okay? I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my back panel here. So as you can see, this is where we began our row right down here. And then I worked about 19 rows in the gray. So I have 19 rows altogether in the gray here. And then I did 20 rows in the navy blue. Now I'll explain to you why I did one more row in this than this. So the first thing first is that I actually will not be able to do the number of rows that I wanted for my shirt for the width, because I am running out of color. So this is one skein here, a little bit less left, and then this is almost a full skein in the navy blue. So I told you guys I have 2 navy blue colors and I have 3 gray colors. So if I want to have enough yarn to do the front panels plus the sleeves, I'm going to not have enough yarn, and I would really like to not have to buy another yarn to be able to complete this project. So I did 19 rows in the gray and 20 here. So in the gray, I have about 9 inches altogether. And then in the navy, I have, oopsie. In the navy, I have 9 as well. So I'll explain to you why this is. For some reason, this navy color works a little bit smaller in terms of the bulkiness. I'm not exactly sure because they are literally exact same yarn, but this one just works to be a little bit smaller. So I did 19 rows. It took me to this mesh, second last mesh row, but I really wanted to finish it with a mesh, with a solid row of double crochet. So I just added the 20th row on this side here, and it happens to give me the exact same number of inches as the gray. Not sure why, but that is what it is. And so altogether I have about 18 inches of my back panel, okay? So it's a correction there to make it so that I have enough yarn to finish my work, because otherwise I would have done a little bit more rows of this and a little bit more row of that. But the moment that I came to almost the end of this ball and realized if I continue to do more rows, I would have had to dig into a second of this color, and in this one I would have had to dig into the second color, which is the only 2 I have. I've decided I am going to be stingy with the yarn and just work it so that I have a shirt that looks nice, but it's not going to be as loose as I wanted it to be. Okay, all right, so hopefully for you guys, you understand the measurement, you can make it look the way you want to make it look. It's just a matter of increasing the number of rows so you can get the looseness that you want. So that is exactly why I love to work with measuring to fit as opposed to working your stitches, working your rows based on how many rows per size. Because if I told you guys this was going to be a large and I end up making a small, it's going to suck for those of you guys who are trying to make a large, okay? So anyways, so I'm just finishing off here. So I would advise you do the same. We started with a solid row. I would advise that you finish with a solid row as well. It's just going to make it easy to connect the panels at the end of the project. So with this done, I have decided to stop here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this panel away. But what I've also done before I put it away is that I've completed one of my front panels. So this is one of my front panels here. I did it in the gray as well. And so the point of this is that I would put the front panel in front of the navy blue when I join it. And then I will have the navy blue that will go here. But as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 17 rows instead of the 19 that I did, or instead of the 20 that I did here. So what this means is then I want to leave a gap for the front. When I join my 2 panels, you don't want them to kind of fit exactly in the middle. It's going to make your shirt look off. So what I did was I did just 2 rows less than what I did for the gray here. And I'll probably do it about 3 rows less in the navy blue, or actually a little bit 1 row less in the navy blue because we did 20 here. So I'll probably end up doing 18 here in the navy blue while I did 17 for this. Okay, so I have my front panel finished here, repeating the exact same thing. I did 112 chains to begin with, and I just did the exact same thing we did. And then as you can see, when I finished it off here, I just cut it so that I have a little bit of a tail left so that we can use that tail to join when we join our work, because we're gonna end up going from probably this direction here, joining it up to here. Okay, so with now 2 panels done for me, I have 3 panels left. I have another front panel to do, which I'm going to repeat the exact same thing we did here. And then I have 2 sleeves panels. So what I will do is I will finish my second front panel. I will do a sleeve panel, and then I'll come and explain to you guys how to do it, because we're repeating the exact same thing we did here, except it's gonna obviously be a little bit less in terms of how many chains we're doing to begin the sleeves and how to kind of measure your sleeve out to make that. So I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and do your first and second panel for the front, and then come back. I will show you what the sleeve looks like, how to do the sleeve, and then you guys will do both sleeves. When we have all of them done, we will put them together and then we'll create our collar. Okay, so I will see you guys in quite a bit of time. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed my 2 front panels here, as you can see. So we did the back panel here with our 2 colors next to each other like that. So this is what we did, and then I had done this color here, one of the front panels off camera, and as you can see, this is what we did. I did off camera and explained to you how to do it. And then I've gone ahead and completed the second front panel in the navy blue, and so we have the 2 completed for the front panels and the back panel. So we have 3 panels completed all together. Okay, so this is what we have. I had also told you that I was gonna go ahead and do one of the sleeve panels. So this is gonna be a sleeve for our t-shirt, and I'm gonna explain to you guys how to do this. So everything, this pattern works the same for all the panels. It's just different sizes based on what we're making, whether it's a big front back panel or 2 small front panels and or a sleeve panel like this. So what I did for the sleeve panel here is, the first thing is you want to find out what the widest part of your arm is. So because it is a t-shirt, you're going to want to measure obviously on the second half of your arm, second half of your hand, I guess. So the top of your arm, and you're going to just put your tape measure around the biggest part of your arm like this. Okay, and then whatever that number is, whether it's 12, 13, 14, whatever number of inches, and then you're gonna add a little bit of looseness. Okay, so for me, for example, when I measure the widest part of my arm, I don't remember exactly, but I believe I have a very small arm, so I believe it's probably about 8 or 9 inches or 10. So let's say it's about 10. I just went ahead and added a couple of inches to make it a little bit longer. So if I measure these here, as you can see, it's about 13 and a half, almost 14 inches for this here. And it's because I'm adding from somewhere around 11 and 12, around 10 and 11. And then I just added a couple of inches to make it loose so that it's not too tight on me. Okay. So what I did for the sleeve panel was I did a chain of 60. And then from that chain of 60, I worked my double crochets, and then I started working my pattern the way we did the other one. So that is what I came with for my size. Depending on your size, you may have done a little bit more or less, but as long as you did your multiples of 4 for your chains. Okay, so I have completed my first sleeve here. So go ahead, get your measurements for your sleeve. Do your multiples of 4 until you have a chain that is representative of what you wanted for your length of the sleeve, and then go ahead and work the pattern the same as we did everything else so far. And then for the length, so this will be how we fold, and this is how it's gonna be my sleeve. So my arm is gonna go through here. So not only do you want to measure how it goes around your arm, you also want to eventually see how many rows you have to do for the length of your sleeve. So this one is gonna be a little bit longer than I would have wanted, or longer than a t-shirt, for example, but I wanted it like that. I did another shirt already where I did the sleeves to be a little bit shorter. This one I'm doing it a little bit longer just because the actual t-shirt itself lengthwise is going to be a lot longer than the one I did previously. So what I did here was I did, how many rows? Let me count. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I did 17 rows altogether here. And as you can see, I started with a solid row of double crochet and I ended with a solid row of double crochet. So 17 rows altogether here. And if you want to know what that length is, I'm gonna measure it really quick for you. I haven't measured it yet. So it's about 8 inches. So the length of my sleeve for my t-shirt is gonna be about 8 inches, okay? So go ahead and do the second sleeve, or do the first, I guess, because I'm explaining this for you to do as your first, but it's my second. I'm gonna go do my second, so this is my first. You're gonna go do both of them, and when you have both of them completed, you're gonna come back to the video, and the only thing we're gonna be left to do is join our panels and then work the front part of our t-shirt, which is going to be the collar. Okay, so I will see you guys when you have done all of your panels, and you should have 5 panels all together by the time you come back. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have just gone ahead and completed my second sleeve here. So as you can see, I just repeated exactly what I did for the first sleeve. Let me see if I can grab it here. So I just did the same thing that I did with my second sleeve here, my first sleeve. I just repeated the second one exactly the same. So as you can see, it is exactly the same. Let me just flip it this way. There you go. It's exactly the same. I started off with the same number of stitches, and I finished with the same number of rows. So everything is exactly the same. I also did it with this color. So I do have more in this gray color than I do in the navy blue. So I decided to do the sleeves in this just because I would have enough compared to the navy blue where I have a little bit left that I may do the collar with that color. Okay, so anyway, so I'm gonna just finish these off here, and I'm gonna cut the yarn a little bit long just so I can use this to be able to join my sleeve to the body and then maybe the side as well. Okay, so as you can see, I have this much in gray, so quite a lot. I just used a little bit to do the second sleeve here, but I do have a lot of it left. So, but my plan is hopefully to do the color in the navy blue, just so that I don't do too much of the gray. But look here. This is how much I have left in the navy blue. So I don't know. I will try to do the color with it. If it's not enough, I will frog it and then just do the color in this. But hopefully I will be able to do the color with whatever I have left here. But we will see. Okay. So anyways, so I cut it long like this. So I can use this to join. And then what I will do here is I will just do a chain 1 and pull it through. That way I kind of lock that in like that. Okay. So this is done. My first one is done. And then if I bring the whole thing here, I have my 2 front panels here. I have my back panel. So everything I have is here. I just need to join. So the first thing I will do is I will put these away, the sleeve panels. Those are going to be the last things to be put into the project. But I'm going to have my back panel here. I'm going to lay it down. Just choose whichever side, the way you want to have it lay down. And then when it is nice and laid down like this, you're going to take, and by the way, decide which side you want to be your outside of the t-shirt and which one is going to be the inside of your t-shirt. So this side that is facing up, I would like this to be the inside of my t-shirt. So what I will do is I will actually flip it like this because I want this side to be my outside. And when we flip it like this, it allows us to join on the wrong side, and then we will flip it to the right side at a later time. So what I will do here then is I will do the same. So my good side here is facing up, and for anything that I put on top of it, my good side is facing down. So this is the side that I will want to show as the outside later. Okay, so I will do it like this. I will line my work from this side here to here, and we know what I will do is I will count the solid parts of my front panel, and then I will count the solid parts of the back panel, and then I'll put a stitch mark on it so that we don't go joining a little bit too, so we don't stretch like this when we join. Okay, so let me count here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I have 9 blocks of the solids here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So what I will do here is I will take this side here. I will take my pen that I'm using as a stitch marker, and I'll put it right where that ends there. And then at the beginning here, as I join, I will know that I need to just get to where the stitch marker is. So I'm going to join it through like this. So I will show you how to join this side, and then you will pretty much do the exact same thing on the other side here and join that, and then we will be able to do the sleeves after that. So I'm going to use the gray yarn to join because it's the one that I have the most leftover of. And for you, you can choose whatever color you want. I'm just doing these. I'm being a little bit practical, so I'm using the yarn that I have the most color left, just so I don't use too much of the blue, especially if I'm gonna use it to do the color. Okay, so I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna cut it somewhere here, anywhere. Let's put this guy away, and then I'm going to pretty much line it up here, and I'm gonna show you how to do the joining a few of them here before I have you guys do the rest of it. So I will just go into the very first knob right here, and then I'll do the same on the other side, and that is just so I can join at the very beginning of our panels there. And then what I will do here is I would knot the side, the short side, to the long side of the yarn I'm using to join, and I'll do that one more time. And then now I'm safe to just join as I go. As you can see, we don't have stitches, so we're not using stitches to join. We're not going through stitches, but we're going to make sure we're spacing it enough that I'm going into the same place twice, by the way, here, just at the beginning. And you just want to kind of join it by lining it up properly, and make sure you're lining everything nice and straight like this. As you can see, the holes are going right through between the two panels. It's because that's it means I'm lining them up properly. And then you just kind of take a little bit from one side, go through to the other side, bring it through. Don't pull too much, because if you pull too much, you will make it wrinkled, and you don't want that problem. So just enough that it's even, but it's not too tight. Don't do it too loose either, because that could be the opposite problem. Is when it's too loose, it just looks not the best. Okay, so then you will just join these as you go through all the way to where the stitch marker is. So I'm gonna do that. When you get to the stitch marker, you will come back. I will come back as well, just so we can see how it looks like. And then I will have you guys join the other side before we join the sleeves to it. Okay. Okay, my lovelies. So I am here to make a correction to the joining of the back panel to the front panels for this t-shirt. So when I first explained, I said that we join all the way from here to the end and from here to the end, which is completely incorrect. So the correction here is, before you start joining, you need to measure how much gap here you need to leave, so you don't join it all straight to here. You're gonna want to leave a gap like this for our collar, because we're gonna work a collar around the neckline. Okay, so in my case here, I had to undo the stitching that I had already done, but for you, this is the moment you're gonna make sure you do it the right way. So I am going to do about 4 inches here that I'm gonna leave, and then anything from there to the end of that the two panels you join, and you do the same on the other side. The other way to remember properly is you can count the number of rows for the front panel. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 rows here that I don't join, and then the rest of them I join on the other side. Okay, so this is a correction that I'm coming back to make, and then we will go back to the future, and I'm going to show you guys how to then do the color. Okay, so I'll see you guys in that clip. Okay, my lovelies, so I just went ahead and joined on top here, and as you can see, I removed the stitch marker and I went into that final stitch. I will do it one more time so I could loop my yarn around like this, and then I can finish it off. That did not actually do what I wanted it to do. Let me go into it one more time, loop it around, and then yeah, that's what I wanted. And then I'm just gonna cut these here. Okay, and so as soon as you do that, the first thing I always advise to do is just stretch the stitches where you just joined, just to make this section here a little bit looser, and so that it's not too tight, and then it can sit flat like this if you want it to. So this being the side that's going to be the inside of our t-shirt, as you can see, this is going to be the side that shows. It's a little bit more neat, it's a little bit more cleaner, but that's why we do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip it back the way it was. And then so what you will need to do is you will take your second panel, in this case here the gray, which is this guy here, and you're going to want to put it so that the wrong side is facing up. Okay, because we want the right side to be facing down, so that when we flip our work finally later, that it is facing the right side. And what I had done with this panel is I cut and left this a little bit longer, so I will just remove what I have left here. We can use it for another time, and I will use this string and I will put my yarn into the darning needle there. And of course we want to make sure we count out 9 of these boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I already know that I have 9 on this panel, so I want to start joining from right here. This is where I want to start joining from. Okay, so I'm gonna pretty much take my darning needle and I'm gonna go through to the other side like this. I'm gonna do it one more time into that same stitch, and then I'm just gonna go join along the top just like we did on the other side. I'm just gonna go and join all the way here to this end. Okay, when I have done that, I will come back to the video and then we will join our sleeves to the body. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined the front panels to the back panel. And as you can see, everything is done. We joined right along here. I have done the same thing I did on this side, which is just to stretch the stitches here a little bit to loosen them where we joined. We can do that more as we go, but the back panel and the front panels are pretty much joined. And now we're going to do join our sleeves. Okay, to do that, we're gonna want to stay on the same side, so we're joining everything on the exact same side, so that we can have it flipped to the good side whenever we're done. So as you can see, I'm just placing this along my table like this, so the back panel is here falling off this way, and then the two front panels are on this side here. And then what I will do is I'll bring it closer to me just so I can show you guys properly, and then I'll take one of my sleeve panels, whichever one, and I am going to place it. This is where I had the yarn that I left hanging, so I'm going to place it along like this. Okay, because I'm gonna use this to join it along here. And as you can see, I have it facing, the wrong side is facing up, just like my panels that are on the table, so that when we flip it, this is gonna be the side that is the outside of my work. Okay, so the tricky part here is that you want, from the middle here, you want equal amount of space here, an equal amount of space here. So this is where your tape measure is gonna come in handy, okay? So if we measure this from here to here, we have about 13 inches. And then you want to get 13 inches here, but you want it to be equal. So let's say we do 6.5 on this side. I want these 6.5 to be right in the middle of that here. So I'm gonna just shift it a little bit like this. And then I want the other 6.5 to be on this side. So now I know I am even. This is the middle here. Your 6.5 is right in the middle because we have 13. And then the other is up to here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a stitch marker. I'm gonna place it on this side. So exactly where it lays down here, I'm gonna grab this and put it there without moving it at all, okay? And then I'm gonna take my second stitch marker. I'm gonna place it in the middle just so I don't pull it too much either way. So I'm gonna remove that for now, and I'm just gonna put this right in the middle, just like that, okay? So now I have this locked in, I have here locked in, and then all I have to do is just join from that end. So I'm gonna take my darning needle, take the string that I had left hanging, or that I had left when I finished the work, my work, and then I'm just gonna take my hands and I'm just gonna flip it like this, okay? And then make sure you're holding it nice and tight here, and you're gonna start joining right at this end here. So just go into this first stitch here, go like this, bring it through, and then I do go right into that one more time. And these are stitches here, so you actually will work with stitches all across until you get to the other side, which is a good thing. So now that you have done that, you're gonna go right into the next stitch and line it up with the other side, go through, go into the next stitch, line it up, go through, and then the next stitch. And then now you're just gonna be going through stitches to join. And as you can see here, I'm going through both loops. I'm not going into just one loop on one side and the other loop. I'm going through both loops for each of the sides here. Okay, and as you can see, I am joining it, but very lightly. I'm not pulling it, I'm not tightening it too much, and I'm not leaving it too loose either. Just nice and even like this, okay? So I'm gonna do this all the way to the other side. When you come to this middle part here, you're just gonna work, there's a stitch here that matches with a stitch here. Go in the middle, right where the stitch marker is lined up with that stitch, and then just pick up where you left off, okay? And then go all the way to where the other stitch marker is. That will be your last stitch that you're joining. And then come back to the video, we'll look at it together, and then I will have you guys do the exact same thing for the other side, okay? I will see you guys in a minute. Okay, my lovelies, so I have joined from here to here, as you can see. And because it's working with stitches, it looks nice and clean. So if I flip it on the other side, that's how it looked like. This is where we joined right here. So very nice and clean as well. Yeah, so this side is done. So what I will do is I will just flip my work and do the exact same thing on the other side. So now my back panel is facing on my right side, and the two front panels are on my left. And then I just do the exact same thing we did with the second panel, okay? So I just line it up nice and easy, and I measure to make sure that I am going to be having equal amount of space from here to here. Put my stitch markers in place and then just join, okay? So I'm not going to show you guys how to do that because I already showed you how to do it on the other side. I'm going to do this off camera when I have this side joined as well. I will come back and then we have the rest of the joining to do. We still have the sides of our body, the bottom of the sleeve, all of that kind of good stuff, okay? So go ahead and do this one and then come back. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and done the same thing and joined my second panel, as you can see here. I will just remove my needle for now, but I will also leave this string here because I will be able to join it I will be able to use it to join the other side of the panel. So as you can see, everything is joined. So what I will do is I will just fold it the way that it's supposed to look as a shirt, as a t-shirt. So I just need to maneuver it around here a little bit. Unfortunately, you cannot see everything on the camera because the table is small, but that's pretty much how it looks like. Okay, so one of your sleeves is right here, the other one is right here. It's not quite straight, and then you go all the way down to the bottom of the t-shirt like this. So it's a nice long t-shirt. Okay, so now what we need to do is join the sides, and with joining the sides, I'm just gonna take one side here so it's easy to explain. So you will just make sure you line up the sleeves like this so that you can join it down all the way to here, and then from here you pick it up and you join the body, the side of the t-shirt like this. This side has stitches, so it's going to be really easy to join this side. The part here, the short part that is the sleeve, doesn't have stitches, so you're going to do it like we did when we're joining the back to the front panels. And then when you finish this side, you're going to flip it and do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, again, if you did the two-tone color or the two colors like this, you can choose whatever color. I'm gonna just continue to use my gray to join for the whole entire thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that when you have joined everything, which is the bottom of your sleeve and then the side of your shirt, and then on the other side do the same thing. When all that is done, come back to the video. We still have the collar to do. Okay, see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and joined the sides of my shirt here. So as you can see, the sleeves are joined to on the bottom parts of it as well. So as you can see right now, we just have a shirt, but your girl, just like she did on the other shirt tutorial, made a mistake. So we have to correct something. For a collar, we need to get the front panels to have a little bit of a space that is left here. As you can see, this neckline is way too tiny. And the reason is that tiny is because I wasn't supposed to be joining it all the way through here. Okay, so this is where we're gonna have to make some corrections. So I'm gonna start on this side. So you're going to decide how much space to leave here. I think usually between, let's see, let me measure it first to see. I think probably about, like, let's say 6 to 8 rows here will be enough. So I'm thinking probably, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So we could remove up to here. So what I will do is I will just use a stitch marker to make us understand. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So just right somewhere right here where these blocks start, I'm gonna put a stitch marker right there. So that means that I'm gonna undo from here to here, and to do that I'm gonna go in with my scissors. So this is why I knotted here when I joined. I ended this one here and I knotted it. So I'm just gonna remove that stitch there, and I want to make sure I remove the right one because it's the gray yarn that we use to join and not the blue, because if I undo the blue then I'm cutting into the actual project. So I think that's it here. Let's see. Yeah, so that's it here. So I'm just gonna use this and undo all the way to where the stitch marker is, because that is what I should have done at the beginning. I'm not sure why. This is my second shirt, or t-shirt I should say, and I literally did the exact same thing in the last tutorial. I think it's just because I'm not used to doing shirts. I'm used to doing sweaters or cardigans where then these make sense, even though this gap would have been a lot wider than that. Then usually just join the front panel to the back panel flat without leaving any gap as we're removing here. So that could be why. But anyways, good thing with this is we're able to correct it. It's just the joining. We're able to just undo some of that, as opposed to, imagine if I had made this mistake at the beginning, it would have been a headache to fix. Anyway, so I just undo it to here, and now that I'm here, I'm gonna remove my stitch marker, and I'm just gonna go into this with my needle so I can actually just close that off, and then we will do the same on the other side. So what I will do here is I'll go into that like this, go around it like that, and then lock it up. And I'm gonna leave these here just in case we need to make a correction. So it's supposed to be looking like this. It's supposed to have this gap like this because we're gonna do a collar, right? So that is why I'm gonna fix that here, just like a knob left from the other side. And then I'll do the same here. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna put a stitch marker right here and then just undo that. And to do that, because I had joined this one from here going this way, I'm gonna just find the gray yarn somewhere here. Like I think this is the one. I'm just gonna cut it. Make sure you don't touch the blue, because the blue, let's go with this one, because the blue is gonna actually cut into your project. So, and then I'm gonna just undo like this and undo at the beginning here, and then again, voila. Okay, and that's already done because we did the closing off here. And then on this side I will just undo with the gray. I am so happy that this is what I have to fix instead of something else that I would have to frog the work. But I will need to be careful next time if I do shirts, that especially a t-shirt that needs that's gonna have a collar, that we do need to leave this space here like this. We can't just join all the way through. Okay, so just the same thing as we did on the other side. I'll remove that. I will use my darning needle to secure that for me. So go back, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this and lock that up like that. Okay, and then I will just weave these in at a later time. So this way, what happens now is that we have a place we're gonna do a collar. Does it make sense now? You see, I don't know why I did it the way I did it, but like now we have a place where we're gonna do a collar. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just weave in all of my ends here, and I'm gonna do a correction clip to insert where we were supposed to do this in the right spot. And then I'm gonna come back and show you how to start working into the collar, okay? So I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, now that I have gone ahead and made the correction and as well as cleaned up the work a little bit here, we're gonna go ahead and work on our collar, which is right here. And to do that, I'm going to use the navy blue color. I still have a little bit left, and I think it will be enough to do a couple of rows. I'm looking to do between 5 to 6 depending on how it looks for my collar. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this. And for you, if you did 2 tones like this, 2 colors, it's absolutely up to you as to how many rows you want to do. It's up to you, okay? The one thing that I'll probably do is I will flip my work to the right side. So we've been doing the whole thing on the wrong side, and I would like to start working on the right side to be able to do my collar. It's just a preference. You can probably just do it by going through on the wrong side still until you finish this, and then you can flip it. But I would prefer to flip mine now and then start working on it on the right side, okay? All right, now to get this started, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna end up starting here and go around like this because I cannot work like this, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start by doing a slip knot, just like this. And then I'm gonna bring my, actually, you know what? I feel like I'm gonna do this in the gray, the color in the gray. I don't know why. This blue, even though it's the exact same as this, it's a lot lighter just in the feel and things like that. It just comes a little, it's a little bit lighter. I don't know why. And I think for a collar, there have to be some solidity to it for it to fall properly and things like that. So I think I'm gonna actually just go ahead and do it with the gray. Give me a second, I'm gonna grab my gray yarn. Okay, so I have my gray color here, and to be honest too, the other fear is that if I don't have enough to go around the number of rows I want, then I'm gonna end up having to frog it and undo it. But with the gray, I know I have enough to do the full color, plus there will be more left over. So anyway, so I'll just do the same thing here, which is to do a slip knot like this, slip knot like that, and then I'm going to go into the corner here, so the very beginning, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put my hook right there, and I'm gonna go and bring that knot through like this. I'm gonna do a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet, and in that same gap right here I'm gonna do 2 more double crochets. So 1 and 2, and it makes it 3 with the chain 3 that I just started with. And then I'm gonna move on to this gap right here, and I'm gonna do 3 double crochets there as well. So 1 and 2, and then I'm gonna move into this gap here and do 3 double crochets. And as you can see, it's gonna be an alternation that I do throughout. Oops, I did 2 here, so I'm gonna undo this to go back there, because if it's 3, it is 3, not 2, like that. And then I'm gonna go into here and do 3 double crochets. So as you can see, I'm just gonna do 3 double crochets in every single one of these gaps here, because there's no stitches to work through. I just go through, this is the mesh area, I go through and do 3 here, and with this double crochet stitch I'm gonna go under that and do 3, and then in the mesh area do 3, and then I just follow that all the way through until I get to the back of the shirt. And the back of the shirt I will probably end up doing the same, but I will show you what I will do there. And that way I'm just keeping it consistent, and you guys will find it a lot easier too that I'm doing it like this, as opposed to doing 2 in one area, 3 in another, or whatever the case is. Okay, so I am heading towards the back here. So I want to be able to show you how to transition in that corner there to go towards the back, instead of cutting the video and coming back to show you that after a few seconds of being off camera, because it will take me just a few seconds to finish these off here. Okay, so this is how it looks so far for the beginning of the collar. And then as you can see, there is this gap here that I will do my 3 double crochets. So 1 and 2 and 3, and then I will just move right to the other gap right on the other side here. So this is now the back of the shirt, and right here I'm gonna go ahead and just do 3 double crochets in that area. And then in this gap here I will do 3 double crochets, 2 and 3, and then in this gap I will do the next 3 right here. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so this is how we're transitioning in the corner there. And then I will just do the same. I will do that all the way here, and then transition over to the other side of the collar. So I will have you guys work that, and when you get to the other side, come back to the video. I will show you how to start the second row, and the second row will be the repeat row for the rest of the project. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my collar around. As you can see, I started here, I am on the other side. So I came back just to show you how to finish these off here, and then how to start the next row. So with these double crochet here left, I'm just gonna go into that double crochet and do my remaining 3 double crochets. I will do 2 into the gap, and then I will go on top of that chain here to do the final one. If I can get in, there you go, and just do my final double crochet there like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a chain of 3 and turn, and then I'm just going to work a double crochet in every stitch until I get to the other side. And then I'm going to do a chain of 3, turn, repeat, and I'm gonna keep doing that until I have the size of my collar that I want. I'm probably gonna make it a little bit bigger than usual, just because it's a long, kind of like oversized shirt. So I'll probably do anywhere between 5 and 6 rows, maybe even a little bit more. But the best thing about it is, as I'm working on it, I'm gonna try it on, and when I start to see that it's looking good, I'm gonna stop there, and then I'm gonna come back to the video and show you guys how it looks, and then finish off the video with you guys, okay? But go all the way to the other side. When you get to here, you will do your double crochet here, your second last double crochet here, and make sure in that chain 3 you go into the middle stitch to do your final double crochet. So here, so you have chain 1 2 3. You're not gonna go on the third, you're gonna go on the second and finish your final double crochet there before you do a chain of 3, turning and beginning the third row, okay? I'm gonna let you guys do that. I will do the same, and I will see you guys when we have finished the size of collar that we're looking to do for our shirt, okay? I will see you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, I've gone ahead and worked on my collar here. I did about 6 rows. I think that's enough. I wanted it to be a little bit wider than normal. So I'm gonna measure it with you guys really quick to see how wide that is. But anywhere from 2 to 3 inches usually is good for a collar. So mine is about 3 inches exactly. As you can see, it goes from here to here. So it's wider than usual, but usually if you do 2 or 3, then that's good enough, okay? So 6 rows that I did here. So I'm just gonna end here. So I'm gonna go right into here and just disconnect by cutting off my yarn somewhere here, like that, and then going ahead and doing a chain 1 and pulling through like that, and then I will weave that in, and I will weave the beginning. This is where we started the project right here, so I'm gonna weave that in as well, okay? But this is pretty much it. So the color is really nice. I like how fluffy it is when we have it on. As you've seen in the pictures, it just kind of falls nice and easy. But yeah, the shirt is pretty much done. I've weaved in all the ends already. It's already on the right side out, so this is what's gonna show as the outside of your work. All I need to do is just weave in that end. The sleeves are already done, nice and clean. They're a little bit longer, like I said, compared to normal sleeves for a shirt, like a short sleeve shirt. But because I did one that was already short sleeve shirt and was shorter, I wanted to do one that you could just kind of play with the length of the sleeves to make it a little bit different and dynamic, okay? But that's pretty much it here. Thank you for watching the video to the end, you guys. Please let me know what you think about these shirts. I know it's my only second one that I'm doing on the channel. If you want me to do some more different variations of it, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.